At this point, given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country's like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse.
And welcome to 2025, where the facts may just be your buzzkill. This time, we're going to be taking a look at the GOP pointing out that the mayors of sanctuary cities are breaking the law and they are criminals. And then we'll get a young Donald J. Trump's opinion on making hard decisions knowing that you will not be liked. But first, it's Project Veritas' new investigation into a town of illegals in Texas funded by China, allowed by the state.
Beneath the scorching sun of East Texas, a massive community is growing. Colony Ridge, a 34,000-acre haven just outside Houston, is projected to house nearly 250,000 people in the near future. Project Veritas rolled into the Lone Star State. Cameras focused on the developers selling dreams of homeownership to foreigners. Many now exposed as illegal immigrants, some linked to cartels, snapping up land for pennies. With little national attention, a small city is rising, built by illegal immigrants and Chinese cash.
So what are you waiting for? Come and find the land of your dreams.
I don't check anybody's citizenship status that's actually legal, so I don't mess with it. We sell to anybody who fits that criteria. So
Perfect.
It doesn't matter who they are in this.
So if they're undocumented,
because we not check that.
you don't check that?
We not check that.
That's good.
We, as long as they have the two identifications, valid identifications.
We're concerned about people that are coming here that might not have their documents. They still want to have a home.
Exactly. That's why we help that way, right? But we do, when they coincide with the notary, they will ask them if they are residential. They want to ask proof. They want.
Okay.
50 people in Mexico that want to come over here and start settling here in Colony Ridge. Can they buy in bulk?
We can negotiate that.
Now, keeping that in mind, let's watch a couple of GOP representatives point out to the sanctuary city mayors that they have committed crimes and are criminals.
Now, I want to ask you something. You all took an oath of office. Mr. Adams, did you swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States?
Yes, I do.
How about you, Mayor Johnson?
Yes, sir, I did.
How about you, the other Mayor Johnson?
Yeah, the Constitution of the United States as well as the Constitution of Illinois.
Okay, and Mayor,
Yes.
you did. Are you familiar with the Supremacy Clause? Any of you?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Then under the Supremacy Clause, you understand that the laws of the United States take precedent over the laws of Colorado, over the laws of Illinois, over the laws of Massachusetts, and your cities. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
But when you declared your cities sanctuary cities, you did so illegally. Do you understand that?
Respectfully, sir, I would disagree with that. We follow
You're
every
disagreeing with
federal
the law. It's against the law to give sanctuary to people who have committed felonies, and it's a felony to cross the border legally. You gave sanctuary to people who are here illegally. You violated your oath to uphold the Constitution because of the Supremacy Clause. The laws of the United States take preference. But you didn't do that.
There is, thank you, sir. There's no part of our city law that violates federal law. No part of the practices or services we provided that violate federal law.
Did you personally violate the law then by giving sanctuary? Somebody gave these people sanctuary. You declared your city. The city of Boston was declared a sanctuary city by you, Mayor.
Being a sanctuary city as you describe it, or being a city as we describe it, that's home for everyone. Does not. It means that if you commit a crime, you are held accountable
to people who are here illegally,
status.
And when you interfere with the officers of the law who are there to even remove people that you know have committed crimes, you have violated your oath of office. You've committed a crime, Mr. Chairman. I don't understand why we haven't been discussing obstruction of justice.
Ooh, if only they could prosecute.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Arizona, Mr. Biggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mayor Adams, you've agreed today. Sorry, over here. You've agreed today that New York City is a sanctuary city. Is that right?
Based on the definitions, and it doesn't seem, Congressman, but there's now a uniform definition of that, but yes.
Right, but that's what you've proclaimed. Mayor Johnston, you've previously also declared that you're a sanctuary city. Mayor Johnson, you said that Chicago must lead with and live by the promise to be a sanctuary city. Mayor Wu, you said Boston Police and other departments cannot cooperate with ICE when it comes to detaining on civil warrants. Of course, I don't know what Mayor Johnston would define it, but I do know that the Honorable Mayor Johnson from Chicago, they call theirs a welcoming city ordinance, and we've got Ms. Wu, Mayor Wu, who's referred to hers as a safe city. That's really interesting to me. So when you are a sanctuary city, you put limits on how much you're willing to cooperate with federal agencies' efforts to remove illegal aliens. And your policies are then contravene federal law. You just do. Under Title 8 of the U.S. Code, it says a federal, state, or local government entity or official may not prohibit or in any way restrict any government entity or official from sending to or receiving from the Immigration Naturalization Service any information regarding the citizenship or immigration status of any individual. Yeah, so when I look at your guys' ordinances, and I got them all up here, and they're really interesting stuff. And Denver, I think you testified previously that you rely on the statutory section, am I right, of the state statute. So let's just review this. There is a distinction, and some of you have made that. Mayor Johnson of Chicago made this repeatedly, and Mayor Wu of Boston did. There's a distinction between criminal warrant, and you say we cooperate on criminal warrant, but there's two levels of cooperation at least. There's a communication level, and there's a passing the person off. That's one level with criminal. But the civil level, this is what I want to talk about for a second, because all of these ordinances proscribe communication and transfer of someone where there's a civil warrant. Now, I know that all of you understand that a removal order is a civil order. And that means none of you and none of your agencies within your municipalities are communicating or passing over someone where there's a ICE removal detainer. So I don't care how many times, 1,226 or whatever it was in 7 years, I don't care how many times you do it, but if you're not doing it for civil orders, then you're allowing people who have a removal order, who've had due process, because that's how you get a removal order. You're allowing them to stay in the country. You're in violation of this law right here. You're in violation of that law right there. And you've got to start realizing what your criminal culpability is on that. And that's really what we're talking about here. So you don't think that's harboring, perhaps, but let's take a look at that next statute, please. That next federal statute. In conducting investigations and hearings, immigration officers and administrative law judges shall have reasonable access to examine evidence of any person or entity being investigated. If you're holding someone back, even if it's under a civil warrant, because that's what you said you're not going to participate in, and you are preventing access to that person or evidence, you're in violation of this. You have criminal culpability under this. And you'll notice there's no mens rea requirement here. This is it. Every one of you is exposed to criminal culpability here. That's the reality of it. Let's do the next one. Any person who knowing that a person is an alien, knowing or in reckless disregard, now you got a culpable mental state here, of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of law, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection, or attempts to conceal, harbor, or shield from detection such alien in any place. You'll notice it doesn't make a distinction that all of y'all want to make of criminal warrants versus civil. You're all in violation of all three of these statutes. You got criminal culpability. I yield back.
But we all know they believe they are above the law.
Most people understand that in order to make progress, you have to do things which aren't necessarily going to make you the most popular boy on the block. And that's what we did.
And I think he has another hard decision to make. But as a gentle reminder, I want to show the Germans casting their ballots, just to point out to those people who argue that federal elections are very big and need machines to handle all of the work. All elections are the same size. They are broken down to precincts. So all of you that want to stick to some team over here or team over there and just repeat what they say, even when what they are saying is the dumb thing to say, all you're doing is making America look like idiots to the entire world.
And like, I've been a Democrat most of my life. I kind of view myself as outside it, but I don't like watching the Democrats just commit suicide. And what I see is most of the country doesn't really, at this point, given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country's like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse. And I just view this as yet another example of the progressive left boxing themselves into a suicide dance.
And welcome to 2025, where the facts may just be your buzzkill.